Welcome back, Illumineers. Thank you for joining us on this Maleficent Monday. So today I'm starting with my budget deck techs, um, trying to give folks who either have very few cards or have a limited budget right now because prices are so high to be able to build a deck that is fun. Um, that has potential that you can add money to later as more cards become available and tune it into something that you fully enjoy. So our my first in this series is going to be one that's more on the fun side. Um, it is our Musketeers deck. So it's going to be Amber and Steel. Um, Now, I've you can tell budget here is about about $40 total. Um, so again, it's very cheap. You're going to get a lot of these cards out of starter decks. Um, there's not that many rares in this deck. As a matter of fact, the only rares that I've included are the Mickey Mouse Musketeer and the Musketeer's Tabard. I'll discuss some other cards that we can add to it after I'm done with the deck tech. So starting off, we have the amazing one drop Captain Hook Fearless Duelist. He is in here because he can challenge characters that have 3 willpower left and remove them, you know, banish them, which is excellent. He's obviously cheap. He's a common, but obviously you definitely want good ways to get characters off the board. Um, Next is our suite of 2 drops. The first one is LeFou, Bumbler. Um, the only reason he is in here is mostly because he has 2 lore. His stats aren't that great. Yes, he gets cheaper if there's a Gaston in play. Currently, there's only one Gaston and one in Rise, so there isn't much there. Mostly, he's there for the efficiency. Since we're a Musketeers deck, we're going to be playing a lot of characters with Bodyguard, and so we have the best Bodyguard. Our 2 drop Simba, Protective Cub, uh, a 2/3, only 1 lore, but has Bodyguard. So again, um, very, very good way to protect your other characters. And our other 2 drop in this deck is Prince Eric. Again, this is a good challenger to help you keep your opponent's board from getting out of control. 3 drops. All right, on our 3 drop slots, we have Mickey Mouse True Friend. Obviously, he's blank. Um, he's a 3 cost 3/3 with 2 lore. Not much really to say here. Again, the reason we're playing him here is we need enough 2 lore characters to try to keep up the pace of some of the decks that we're going to be seeing and playing. Um, and speaking of 3 costed 3/3s with 2 lore, we also have Kristoff, Official Ice Master. Um, and then we get to our 4 drops. um, so there were a few 4 drops at that we could have used in the slot. All of them pretty well do the same thing. Um, they're again just a body that produces 2 lore for us. This drawback is not very bad. We're only carrying 1 song in our deck, um, and so this is not really a drawback for us. It's just mostly blank. Our other 4 drop, of course, is Donald Duck Musketeer. He gives all my other Musketeers evasive. Um, while I like the fact that these are musketeers are thematic, helping each out of the other musketeers, I kind of wish that that these abilities helped other characters with bodyguard. Again, I see why they did it for flavor reasons. Donald gives your guys evasive so you can take out opponents. Evasive characters, very important, particularly against one of the other cheap decks that you'll see in this series. Next up is Goofy Musketeer. Um, 5, 3, 6, 1 lore, and he can heal 2 damage from each of your musketeers. So he helps keep your dudes alive. And our last 2 sets of dudes here are Beast, hard headed. Um, Beast is a very good uncommon. You're going to need him. There, even though you may not see items in your opponent's deck, um, having a 5 costed 4/4 with 2 lore is nothing to sneeze at. But being able to banish chosen items, particularly in the Ruby Amethyst deck, um, but also in decks like the Turbo Aerial Who's It Collector deck and the Tamatoas. This is a 4 of, in my opinion. Got to have ways to clear them out. Last of the character suite, of course, is Mickey Mouse Musketeer. 6 cost, 2/7, has 2 lore, a bodyguard, and make sure other musketeers are stronger. I think the musketeer theme is very cool. I need one more musketeer, something that gives each of them +1 lore. Um, we get to that point, and then we'll probably have a very strong deck. All right, let's go down to the rest of the deck. We are running some removal, so we've got 4 Fire the Cannons. We have 4 Smashes. We have 4 Be Our Guests to help us dig for whatever we need, more 2 lore characters or more musketeers or bodyguards. And lastly, we have Musketeer's Tabard. Now, this ability is very nice because it's one of your characters with bodyguards is banished. You draw a card. It doesn't matter if you're challenging an opponent's character, if they're challenging your bodyguard, or if they play a removal spell or a board wipe, like Be Prepared or Grab Your Sword. Okay, so obviously, this is a cheap start of a deck. So if we were to want to upgrade it, what would we look at here? Um, Obviously, the big dollar sign would be Rapunzel because she has an easy way to heal your characters and draw you more cards, and she's another um, multiple lore character. Um, you also have Stitch Rockstar that you could use. Uh, might end because of 3 lore. You have now you would actually be playing him at 6 in this deck as it's currently slated, so it may need some other adjustments. Um, but probably some 3 lore characters would be helpful. And of course, there's only 2 currently, and 1 more in the pipeline because you've got Moana and Stitch, Rockstar. Um, look over at steel at other things we could do here. A good 4 drop that would be useful in the deck would be something like Hans, 13th in line. Again, he's a super rare. They're somewhere between $5 and $7 per copy. Stats are not great, but your bodyguards will help keep him from getting hurt. But this lets you quest for 2 and ping a character for 1. Um, so that's a nice little upgrade to the deck. Um, uh, Pretty obvious. Grab your sword is a big upgrade to the deck. Helps you sweep away your opponent's characters. Um, Now you are getting 1 copy in one of the starter decks, which is very nice. That's the reason it's only about $5 right now, but it's still very good. If you want to go expensive, then you've got Tinkerbell, Giant Fairy. This is one of the more egregious ones. This is saying from $26. I've seen this card as much as 40. So again, that's another expensive upgrade, if you will. Having some more basically having some more 2 lore characters with abilities, um, or even some 3 lore characters, which unfortunately these two groups don't have a lot of. The other major one that you could add is, of course, Lilo, and unfortunately, she's $15. That that's expensive, but I know 1/1 with 2 lore lets you get down and on the table early. If your bodyguards protect it, um, lets you get an early lead, and then let you clean up later. Um, Again, this is a cheap alternative to some of the meta decks that we've got out there. Um, it's a starting point, especially if your group isn't very hyper competitive and you want something that's thematic and something that it's fun to play. Maybe you remember the Three Musketeers cartoon. Um, in all honesty, we could have even added Mickey Mouse Princess to this, which is also part of that. Um, and if you get enough princesses, then your backup is, hey, we can play Moana to help uh, with all the questing and lore gaining and protection for with bodyguards. So, all right, guys. So again, that's one of my early budget decks. Fun little deck to play. It's got room for improvement, obviously. You can add with more non-budget effects in this version, and hopefully we'll see a couple of more effects that will help the deck move higher up into competitive ranks. Until next time, no matter the game, there is no escape from the